Yo, what's going on, Kicks Army? Today I'll be doing a sneaker drawing on the concepts and Nike Kyrie 4 Green Lobster. I was talking about how the Timberwolves are potentially signing Luol Deng and Joakim Noah, and Ben Simmons wanting the 76ers to be the face of the league. Let's get it! First of all, if you guys enjoy these daily sneaker drawing videos, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, bounce past that bell to get post notifications. And more importantly, if you're the kind of person that loves free stuff, then I got some advice for you. You should absolutely 100% go on my website, KicksArt.com. Over 150 different free sneaker stencils. It's basically your #1 resource for anything sneaker related that's also a stencil. I know that's like super specific, but hey man, I'm doing what I can. And on top of all that goodness, if you want to see a new stencil added to the website that's not already available, you can go ahead and you can send a request through the contact tab at the top of the page. Like, if that's not good customer service, I don't know what is. Now, you guys already know this is a sneaker drawing of the concepts and Nike Kyrie 4 Green Lobster. I guess the way that you get this pair is through a raffle that had already happened, so if you didn't know about it, then it might already be too late, although don't quote me on that. Besides this being a collaboration, this model was also inspired by Kyrie Irving's love for SBs. Loved the previous collaboration that Concepts did with Nike when they were working on the Lobster SBs, so it makes sense that they went ahead and they did a rendition of this for his sneaker. Now, I love collaborations. I love experimenting with new things. I love how unique this concept is, no pun intended, because they do have that band that goes around the toe, similar to how lobsters have those bands around their claws so that way they just can't pinch stuff or whatever. Overall, very creative, but you guys already know I'm not copying anything. I am broke. Like, it's kind of sad when I have to say this every single video that I cannot afford sneakers even if I do like them, which, I mean, this pair is okay, but I don't really have anything I could rock it with, to be honest, so I'm not losing out on too much. But in an alternate universe where I could afford these pairs, I probably wouldn't spend the money on that. I'd spend the money on something else, like maybe like advertising on Instagram or something else that'd be more better for my business. But if you think these shoes are dope and you went ahead and you got a raffle ticket, then kudos to you. Now, before I get into any basketball talk, I have a quick little story. So I was in class, right? And this all started last week, but it really amplified this week. So we're in class, we're talking, and the way this class is set up is we're pretty much redoing projects that we did in the past for our portfolio coming up in the future. And I guess we can all kind of do what we want. We can listen to music if we want, we can kind of talk. As long as we're working, it's fine. The teacher's really cool. Somehow, again, I don't know how we get into these random conversations, but somebody had brought up root beer floats or whatever, and I made the comments like, I don't really know what that is. Like, I've heard of root beer float before, but I've never had one, so I can't really relate when you guys are talking about how good it is. And they all looked at me, right? All 6 or 7 of them or whatever, they just looked at me, they're like, what? You've never had a root beer float? And I'm like, no, I've never had a root beer float. They're like, what is wrong with you? Are you out of your mind? And I was just trying to make the case. I'm like, look, if there was ever a situation where there was like a root beer float or there was anything else, like a juice or a soda or a milkshake or anything else, I'm going with anything else. I've never had root beer. I've never had a root beer float, so I'm not inclined to go ahead and try it. And this sparked like a good 20-minute debate. Everybody was just so intense, and apparently the end decision was on the final day of class, so like in 2 weeks or whatever, we're going to turn in our final project on that last day, and we're gonna have a mandatory root beer float party. And I guess this amplified because a lady had came in with the coffee or whatever, and she was drinking it, and somebody had brought up pumpkin spice, I guess because October is coming up real soon, so it's that kind of time of year for that. And I also mentioned that I've never had anything pumpkin spice, not like a pumpkin spice latte or anything. Again, the whole class was in an uproar. They're like, man, boy, something's wrong with you. Who hurt you? How have you not had these things before in your life? And I had to defend myself again. It's like, okay, look, I don't really eat pumpkin too much, like just period. All right, so if you add the pumpkin flavor to anything else, I'm not really inclined to eat that. And then especially since I don't have coffee too much, if I'm gonna have coffee, I'm usually gonna have the same thing that I always get, which is like an iced white chocolate mocha, and that's pretty much it. And even if that's not an option, I'll do like something that's like vanilla and iced, but I keep it really simple. I don't really go out of my lane too much. I like to stay in my lane when it comes to that kind of stuff. So not only are we gonna have root beer floats, but we're also gonna have pumpkin spice lattes. But guys, seriously, I've never had either of these drinks. If these drinks are good, I wanna know ahead of time so that way I'm not just walking into this new mission in my life blind. Am I crazy for not trying this? And also, what is something that you've never had that you also might get clowned for saying that you've never had it? So real quick, basketball, I guess news? I don't know, this is interesting. You guys are gonna find this funny. I'm scrolling through Instagram, I saw Clutch Points posted something. Picture says NBA stars in their new home arenas, and it's a picture of LeBron James, DeMarcus Cousins, Carmelo Anthony, Kawhi Leonard, and DeMar DeRozan. Obviously, they're all new teams this season. And I guess it shows their averages for whenever they played against that team. So for example, LeBron's average against the Lakers is 27 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 6.8 assists. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. I scroll to the next picture. They have Kawhi Leonard, right? So his averages against Toronto, this has got to be wrong. 6.5 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. 6.5 points, and then right next to it, they say the best performance Kawhi Leonard has had against Toronto is 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. And apparently the date of when this game happened was December 10th, 2010. I did a little bit of quick research. Kawhi Leonard wasn't drafted until 2011. Like, clutch points, I love you guys. What are you doing? And apparently this average of Kawhi's is based off of 4 games that he's played in Toronto. And what I don't understand is if he's been in the league for 7 seasons, shouldn't he have played 7 different games in Toronto? Because when you're playing against a team that's in a different conference, so the way it works is you play against them twice. You play once in their home court and then once in your home court. So yeah, I don't know, man. This post got me confused. This whole thing is like 50 shades of messed up. Now on with the more serious basketball discussions. The Minnesota Timberwolves are looking to acquire Joakim Noah and Luol Deng. I don't know what they're doing. Why are they trying to be the Minnesota Wolves? Like, I don't get it. And if I'm not mistaken, weren't there allegations in the past back in Chicago where Luol Deng was kind of fed up with Tom Thibodeau because he was playing him way too much? Like, if I'm not mistaken, his usage rate was pretty high for a few years, like unreasonably high. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that, you know, connection and chemistry is a huge part of the game. You have to be comfortable with who you're playing with. So it really helps that Luol Deng, Joakim Noah would be playing with Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose, and alongside with Tom Thibodeau as the coach. And this is a setup that they had back in Chicago. I understand all of that. That being said, if I'm Minnesota, if I'm like the management, the upper management in Minnesota, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's the future of our franchise? I would assume it's Karl Anthony Towns and possibly Andrew Wiggins. And yeah, like, it's awesome having Jimmy Butler there and stuff, but now when you keep adding these ex-Bull pieces, it's like, what is happening to our team? Like, best of luck to them. I hope they do well, but I don't see this ending too good. And lastly, we have Ben Simmons saying, quote, "I want our team to be the face of the league, not just in the East." All right, Ben Simmons, for the record, I trust the process. I think you guys are going to do awesome. I was like so close to getting a Sixers backpack, but then I realized, I was like, okay, wait a minute. I can't hop on the bandwagon too quick. I have to still stay with the Magic, so I can't just go ahead and make a $160 investment for a team that's not mine. But with all that being said, Ben Simmons, as of right now, at least as far as the regular fans can see, the Celtics are the face of the East and potentially could be the face of the league if they beat whoever comes out of the West. That's obviously another discussion for another day, but the fact is they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They went 7 games with the Cavaliers and they were missing both Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving, which are both pretty good players if you ask me. And you guys had a chance to beat them, but unfortunately you lost. Now, don't get me wrong, I love looking high. I love having your expectations set high. You kind of reach for your goals or whatever. But the fact is, there are a few pillars you kind of have to go by before you get to that mantle. Ben Simmons, I think you're going to be an awesome NBA player. Joel Embiid, I think you're already an awesome NBA player. Markelle Fultz, I don't really know what you're doing. Hopefully you're like, you know, comfortable with shooting. Can we just start there, please? Assuming you're there, the potential is absolutely there for your team to do well. You have some other pieces as well. So, you know, like I said, I trust the process. You guys are one of the front runners to go ahead and exit out of the East and potentially make it to the NBA Finals. But you guys got to deal with Boston. And I also think Toronto's no joke. They have Kawhi Leonard. They were the #1 team in the East last season, and they didn't have Kawhi Leonard. Now they have Kawhi Leonard. Assuming he like actually tries really hard and he wants to be there, he's going to be a good asset to the team. I would argue, and I think everybody else would argue, that he's a much better upgrade than DeMar DeRozan. No offense, DeMar. But like, he's pretty good at what he does. So you got to deal with the Celtics. You gotta deal with the Raptors, and you know what, I'm gonna throw out another team just to kind of spice things up a little bit. Some of you guys might be thinking that I'm talking about Washington, and don't get me wrong, they could be in that mix. They have Dwight Howard, they have John Wall, they have Bradley Beal, and they have a few other pieces, but I don't know, I still feel like they're gonna maybe make it to the second round at best. I'm kind of looking at the Indiana Pacers. All right, they went 7 games with the Cavs. Victor Oladipo went to college in Indiana, so I think going back to Indiana really rejuvenated his spirit, and it really helped him kind of break out as an NBA player. Unfortunately, when he was in the Magic, my Magic didn't do anything with him because my Magic don't really know how to do anything with anyone. And then when he was with, Russell Westbrook and the Oklahoma City Thunder, he had a few good moments, but nothing too crazy. Now that he's in Indiana, he's definitely made a huge improvement, even though he's not with my Magic anymore, and Oladipo we trust. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, like. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, bounce past that button, get post notifications. Don't forget to check out KicksArt.com for all your sneaker stencil needs. Make sure you check out the other videos on the channel. You guys already know I'm uploading daily, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Yee!